get ready to bounty those hunts and shoot first, because we're playing the Mandalorian Adventures in this episode of Table for One. Hi, I'm Paula, and I don't know if you could tell, but I actually don't know almost anything about the TV show The Mandalorian Baby Yoda. Except he's not Baby Yoda, it's Grogu, the child. I don't know. But what I do know is an awful lot about the original trilogy, so any Star Wars references I make are probably going to be related to that. The Mandalorian Adventures is designed by Corey Konetska with Josh Bepler, and it's published by Unexpected Games, who are helping to sponsor this playthrough. So, of course, Rodney has done a how to play video for The Mandalorian Adventures, and those solo rules are really not that different at all. So if you want to know exactly what we're doing, the nitty gritty on the rules, on how the game works, go watch his how to play video. He's going to show the setup and the rules for the very scenario we're playing today, and then come back on over here and play this scenario one with me. If you want to know the adventure we'll be going on today in our mission 1, our game book has this comic in it to introduce us to the story. Then the map. Let's get this set up. We have mission 1 set up on the board. Now you have suggested characters here in the box here. So that's who I'm going to be playing with today. The Mandalorian and IG-11. IG-11? I'm going to assume it's IG-11 since it's C-3PO and R2-D2. Usually you say all the things out. So IG-11. And I decided we're going to get risky today and play on standard mode. So if you play on novice mode, these characters have 8 health. But I'm going to get a little big for my britches. And I'm going to play on standard mode where we get 6 health each. Give ourselves a little bit of a challenge today. Will I be able to make it? I don't know. Wish me luck. So I've got both of our characters here on their starting spot, which is marked by this little arrow. And we're going to have to travel across this board to achieve our objective. Now, our objective is listed here on our map. Capture the asset. A character is in the asset space found on one of the triangle threats, which is one of these 2 specifically tokens, at the end of any player's turn. So at the end of a turn, if I am on this space with whichever one of these is the asset, we'll win. Now, of course, I don't know which one of these is the actual asset. We're gonna have to flip them over to find out. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be the first one we flip over, or maybe it won't. We got a 50-50 shot. Failure is if one of our characters is defeated. Again, that might come easy because we're only playing with 6 health. And then whenever we have 6 or more strength on any of our actions here, we'll place a damage token on this area. And once there are 3, one of these 2 spaces is going to spawn a reinforcement. Whenever, of course, there's 5 or more strength on one of these actions, we'll pull an event card. But we actually have to put some disrupt tokens on these actions to begin with, which I haven't done yet. So let's do that right now. So we want to find these disrupt tokens that have the kind of white or gray background. And those are the ones we are going to put out. We're going to have 1 left over. In this scenario, we only have 4 actions and there are 5 tokens. So one of them we're not going to get put out on the board. So let's shuffle these up real quick and put them out. So let's see what we've got. We've got 1 strength on our move, 1 on our attack, 3 on intel. Yee. And then let's see, 2 on plan. Okay. So, of course, now we go to our guide deck. So the first instruction we have is when setting up our first game, we flip this card and follow the instructions. So I've already done that because this tells us how we want to set up for mission 1, that it serves as a good tutorial to learn the basic rules. And that if we're playing solo, which of course we are, we're going to play with the shared character mode, which basically means we take both our characters, we're going to be controlling both of them, but they don't have separate decks. I have shuffled all of their action cards into one single deck. So when we draw cards into our hand every turn, we'll be playing cards for potentially both characters depending on what we draw. I'm going to talk about all of that as we're playing so that it's clear for you while you're watching. All right, so then we get rid of this card and it says stop. After we complete our first game, win or lose, flip this card and follow the instructions. So we will wait until we're done to look at that anymore. So one thing I want to note is that we have a little special map rule in this first mission. It's called bunker access. During our action step, you may take a door control feature, which will be found on one of our circle threats, they're all over the board, and place it on the spot. Once we have 2, we'll be able to unlock this door, which will actually allow us access to the triangle threat tokens. And of course, as we know, one of those has the asset. Now, I don't think we're supposed to know yet that what is the asset, but I think it's Baby Yoda. So we start, of course, by drawing 4 cards into our hand. Now, if we were playing on veteran mode, we'd only get 3 instead of 4 every turn, but I'm not a veteran. I barely feel that I'm above one step of a novice, so I think we're just gonna stick to standard mode. Okay. So here we are with our 4 cards. We ended up with 2 for IG-11 and 2 for the Mandalorian. You can tell because that's who's in the card art on the cards and also on the back, so you can see what decks they belong to. So we're going to be playing 2 of these cards this turn, and they could either both be for the Mandalorian, both be for IG-11, or one of each. It doesn't matter. But of course, before we can start going, I gotta make sure that all the threat tokens on the board that are meant to be face up and the ones that are meant to be face down are correct. Boom, all set up and ready to go. Now, one of the important things in this game is to not get too caught up with just moving and attacking all the bad guys, because you could get really swamped. We really want to find our objective and do whatever attacking we need to get there. But honestly, if we can avoid combat, it's going to help us a lot, I think. So now I think what I'm going to do is play this 4 power IG-11 card onto movement, because I really want to start moving in here. Maybe I can take out 4 movement will allow me to get all the way up to this guy, and then I'll be close enough to be able to check out this token right here, and this could be a door unlock. So that's why I'm thinking we do that. So I'm playing my 4 strength here. Now, of course, this is going to trigger a vent, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So I can move up to 4 spaces. Enemies and face down threats, stop movement. So IG-11 is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm okay. None of this guy does not have sentry ability. None of these around IG-11 have the sentry ability. These 2 do, of course, and it's this little upside down triangle symbol with like the red double parentheses around it. And that means that if I end my movement within range 1 of this type of this symbol, I will take 1 damage. They're like on Overwatch. They're standing sentry. But I don't have to worry about that down here yet. Now, this could be a baddie with sentry ability. We don't know yet. So now that we're in here, I think we do an attack. I think we do our dual blasters. So if I play this to the attack, because it has the matching attack symbol, I'll get to do this special ability. It says, when performing this action, split the damage as I choose between 2 threats within range 1. Well, I have 1 threat within range 1 for sure. It's range 0, this guy. But I definitely am also in range 1 of this person here. Now, I can't move up there. He's on an elevated space. You can tell because of these red dotted lines. But that does not stop my ability to target him. So I could go on and do 2 damage here, 2 damage here. Or I could do some preemptive damage to this face down threat that is right next to me as well. So I can shoot at this and hope to do some damage. If it's a threat, if it's an actual enemy under there, then that damage will apply and maybe I take him out before he has a chance to act, right? But if it's not, if it's something else like a bunker access door control, no harm, no foul, I've now revealed that the only thing that I've done is waste 2 attack power on something that wasn't going to take any damage anyway. So what do we want to do? I know I want to take out this guy because he's right in my space. I don't like it, I don't like his face. I don't like his style. He has 2 health. I can do 4 damage, so 2 of that's going to him. He immediately comes off the board. We took him out. Now, do I shoot here or do I test the 1? I could use intel later. You know what? I'm going to test this. I'm going to shoot at this 1 circle threat in the hopes that it's an enemy. And even if it's not, I've at least revealed it and I'll know what it is. So shooting 2 damage over here. It's within range 1. Let's see what it is. Oh, okay. Honestly, I'm not super sad about this. Yes, I wasted some attack power, but I have now discovered that this is a door control. And that's going to save me an intel action on another turn trying to figure it out. So now we do the event step. So we're going to check and see 1 column at a time. Is there 5 or more strength? Well, none of them have 6. So we don't have to worry about this crisis, but we do have events. So this is 5. So in our shared character mode, whichever is the top character on the triggered event column is the one who that event will apply to. So let's flip over an event, and this is an event that IG-11 has to deal with. Blaster fire. Okay, so we need to find any of our enemies who have the blaster symbol. We have 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. 2 of them are going to move 1. So the 2 who are closest to IG-11 are going to move 1 toward him. So we're going to move, this one will move 1 because that puts them within shooting range. And this one will move 1 because it's now protecting this door control and is also within range 1. And then, oh no, 2 of them are going to attack within range 2, or they're both within range 1 now. So they're going to do 1 damage each to IG-11. We only have 6 health, and now we've done 2 damage. That's a third of IG-11's health. So I'll take this token and we'll put that here on IG-11's card. Oh boy. Okay, so then this goes away, and so does this disrupt token. And this card then goes into our discard pile. Next, this one is also 5 because I played 2 4-power cards, tried to come out swinging, and now I'm hurting. So 5, so we're going to flip over another event card. Surgical strike. So 2 sharpshooters. So we have 1 here and 1 here. That's it, those 2. Will attack within range 3. After an enemy attacks, move it 1 space away from the nearest player. This is, wow, what a start. They can both do this. They are both within range 1, 2, 3 of IG-11. 1, 2, 3. IG-11 has taken so much damage. It's not good. This is okay. Yeah. So, they're both going to do a damage. So that's 2 more. 2 more to IG-11. So that's 4 total of the 6. Good. And then they will both move 1 space away. So this one's going to come here, and this one is going to come here. Then this card discards, and this disrupt token goes away. Now we redraw our hand to 4. So we get to draw 2 more cards, and 2 of them are IG-11. But we have 2 Mandalorians. Now IG-11 could really stand to heal, but there's not a lot of healing in this game. We want to pick this up, but we need to take this guy out. Okay, I have a plan. It's so risky, but we're going to go bigger. We're going to go home here. So we're going to play with IG-11 again. Oh my gosh. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw their fire. So that goes into the move. It says move. Deal yourself 1 damage to deal 2 damage to a threat within range 1. Use this before resolving enemy abilities. So what this does is I'm going to deal 2 damage here to this blaster enemy. That will take him off the board. And then I can move 2. And I'm going to go 1. I can pick this up while I move through the space, place it here. And then honestly, I'm going to back him up to give him a little space. Now, I did have to deal myself 1 damage to do that. So we're almost dead. But I'm hoping that when I play this card to plan, I'm going to pull some planning cards and maybe they'll help. I might have made really bad choices off the bat here, but here we are. So I'm going to play my IG-11 card here to planning. I'm going to draw 2 planning cards. And I get to keep 1. Okay, definitely taking the defend card because that's when I'm dealt damage, discard this to block 1. So we're going to take that for IG-11. And then this strategize card is really great, but we're going to put that back on top of the deck so I can draw it again rather than putting it in the discard pile. So now we've done the 2 actions for this turn. We go to our event phase, and luckily nothing really is going to happen. Because if you see here, this is only 2, nothing. This is at 3, this is at 4. So none of these will trigger an event or a crisis. So we're just going to draw up 2 more cards. We have nothing but Mandalorian cards in our hand now, which means it's time for the Mandalorian to do some stuff. Okay, I'm going to play this plan card because the Mandalorian gets a boost with the planning if we go here. So it's going to be a strength 4 plan. I can draw 4 cards and keep 1. This is going to end up triggering a crisis and an event, but I think it's going to be okay. So we're going to draw 4 of these cards and see if we can get the Mandalorian some good stuff before he dives in. I am going to take retaliate for the Mandalorian. That says after an enemy deals you damage, even if you block it, discard this to deal 2 damage to that enemy. So I get to do some defensive damage back to someone. And then I'm going to I have to discard all but 1 of these. So I'm going to put defend back on top. And then I'm going to take the 2 strategize cards and I'm going to put them in our discard pile. Ooh. Then I'm going to play tracking fob. If I play it to intel, again, I'm going to trigger another crisis and event. So this is a power 4. Intel is going to also, if I play it to the intel spot, which I am, I'm going to be able to move 1 space, ignoring enemy abilities. So I'm going to move forward here. And then I'm going to secretly look at a face-down threat within range 4. Or choose an enemy within that range and move it 1 space. I'm going to look at this because it's within range 1, 2, 3. Let's see if it's worth me going up here to look at this token or if I can safely ignore it and move on to some of these other circles. So let's look at this. Okay, that's a bad guy. I do not want to go up into that space. Now, this is technically stays face down, but we know it's there. So I think that was really worth checking on because that would be a really bad space to mess with. So we're going to start to move ourselves down the map a little, I think. So that will be the end of the action step. So now we go into the event step. Nothing happens for move, nothing for attack, but we have 7 here at intel, which means we're going to have to resolve a crisis. So we're going to place a damage token here. Nothing happens yet, but 2 more. And we'll get some reinforcements. And then we're going to flip an event card. And again, because it's a Mandalorian card on top of the stack that's triggering this, this is going to target the Mandalorian. Ambush! Oh gosh, we get a reinforcement anyway. So we put a reinforcement on the nearest star space. I suspect these are equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just put it on this one, I think. There, and then we flip it over and see what it is. Okay, it's a blaster guy of health 3. And then 1 sharpshooter within range 3 will attack. Well, this guy, 1, 2, 3, is in range 3 because we moved forward 1. That's a bummer. So he will deal 1 damage to the Mandalorian. And then we discard that. And then this goes away. This card discards. And then we have another crisis here. Because 2, 4, 7 again. So another damage token goes on our little crisis track, 1 away from getting a reinforcement. And then we also have to resolve an event. So another event for the Mandalorian. Assault. Okay, so 1 melee fighter is going to move 3. So let's see. Our melee fighters are here and here. These are the only 2 we have revealed on the board. So which one is going to be able to get closest to the Mandalorian? They have to move this way. 1, 2, 3. I think they're going to end up the same. 1, 2, 3. So let's... I think we're going to pull this guy off of the building and come around. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. So he's now there. So then the rest of this card says now either a sharpshooter or a blaster within range 2 will shoot again. I don't think anyone is within range 2. Here's a sharpshooter. That's range 3. Blaster. That's range 3. So actually, this bottom half of the card will not take effect. So we were able to resolve the top half. We cannot resolve the bottom half, and so we'll just ignore it. Now, if we had been able to not resolve anything on the card, we would discard it, and then we'd have to spawn a reinforcement. But we were able to do half the card. You know what? Actually, these enemies will do these events based on whoever is closest. So I know we calculated that neither a sharpshooter nor a blaster was going to be in range to be able to hit the Mandalorian. Well, let's actually double check that there isn't one in range that would be able to hit IG-11. I hope there's not, because that will kill him and we'll lose. So is there a sharpshooter or blaster within range 2 of IG-11? There is not, so we're lucky there. Of course, we do have this defend card, which would have helped us in keeping IG-11 alive for now, but I'm glad we don't have to use it. So that is the crisis in the event for our planning, which is at 7. So all of that will discard, and these will go into our discard pile, and we will do our draw step to get ready for our next turn. I think we need to try and let the Mandalorian do some things now, since IG-11 is kind of hurt. And we know we don't care about this, because that's just an enemy. So I think maybe we move the Mandalorian in this way if we can. Now, move is at 2. So anything else we put on move is going to give us an event. But maybe we just do that. 1, 2, 3, and then an attack could go. If we go here, we'd be safe from this sentry. We might be close enough to do some intel here. Okay, I'm going to play this card here, 3, to move. That is going to trigger an event at the end of this turn, but hopefully it'll be okay. So, I've got my Mandalorian here. We've got IG-11 here, but the Mandalorian is the one doing a move of 3. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3. So he's within range of 2 enemies, but he's not in the same space as 2 of the enemies. And I'm going to play 4 to intel. I'm going to secretly look at a face down threat within range 4. So we have 1, 2, 3 for this one. 1, 2, 3. We could technically look at this one as well, but I want to know this first because there's a lot of bad guys up there. So let's see what this one is. Okay, that is a really bad guy. A melee with a strength of 5. I would like to leave him alone. I hope we don't have to go up here for the other door. I hope it's down here. We're going to try and figure that out next if we can. Okay, and then that is the Mandalorian taking their turn. We just happen to play 2 Mandalorian cards this action step. So we do our event step. This is 5 here at move, so we don't have to do a crisis, but we will get another event card. Pinned down. Oh no, a reinforcement is going to spawn in our space. The Mandalorian, because that's the card that's on top here. It's just the exact same thing as the big bad strunk guy that I just was like, let's avoid that. He's now spawned in our space. And then a blaster within range 2 will attack. Well, there is a blaster. We're closest to it. We're only within range 1. She's going to do 1 damage to us. And by us, I mean the Mandalorian. Oh! Should he retaliate? I'm going to wait. I don't want to use my retaliate card yet because it's going to do 2 damage. And while that will kill this guy, he only takes 1. I'd rather save it for one of these 2 where I can have like the full strength of that retaliate help me the most. Then we check here. Intel is at 4, so it doesn't trigger anything yet. And then we draw up 2 more cards. We have a Mandalorian, 2 more Mandalorian cards. We're heavy Mandalorian right now. I think we're going to do the flamethrower attack. It has a strength of 2. So it will deal 2 damage to a threat within range 1, and then it's going to deal 2 damage to an enemy in my space in addition to performing the action. So what I think I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, within range 1, 2, to take out this melee guy, and then I'm going to do 2 damage in my space to this one. He takes 5. I'm going to put this little damage 2 marker on him. And then I think I'm going to play my Beskar armor to planning. So it's a strength of 1, but it says plan. Instead of performing this action, search the planning deck and discard pile for 1 defend card. Take it, shuffle the deck. So we're going to do that. I'm going to use this to get a defend for the Mandalorian. Here we go. So you can have 1 of each type of card per character. So right now he has a retaliate and a defend, and IG-11 has a defend. I wouldn't be able to get a second defend for IG-11 until that card has already been spent. Okay, and that's the action step for this turn. So now we do our event step. None of these are going to resolve as crises or events because none of them are strength 5 or higher. So we move on from that. We draw 2 cards. We have some IG-11. Ooh, I like what's just happened here. Emergency repairs. If we play this to plan, heal 1 damage from any character in your space that has 2 or less remaining health, even yourself. I'll be doing that, I think. So we are going to play that to planning. IG-11 is going to heal themselves 1 damage. So they're slightly brought back from the brink. And then I can also do my plan action. So it's 1, so I'll take 1 from the top and see. Ooh, retaliate. Great. So now they both have defend and retaliate. Okay. Then I'm going to play a Mandalorian card. I'm going to play this Ambin Phase Pulse Blaster, but I'm not going to play it as an attack, so we won't get this bonus free action. Instead, I'm going to play it to move. So hopefully this isn't leaving IG-11 too unguarded here, but I'm going to move the Mandalorian 1, 2, 3 into this space with this gnarly melee guy because I want to be able to check out this token right here and see if it's possibly our other door control. And that's the action step. So we'll do our event step. Once again, nothing is quite at 5 yet, so we don't have any events. We're in the clear for the moment. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. They're both IG-11, so IG-11 is going to have to do some things. I can't just keep putting them all off on the Mandalorian because, oh look, these are all IG-11 cards. Okay, hopefully we can survive this because I'm going to play an IG-11 card to move. So there's 4 there now, but it's just a strength of 1. So IG-11 is going to move 1 space right there. So now I'm within range 1 of this really nasty 5 hit point melee enemy. And then I'm going to play this 3 to attack. Now, I'm not going to do the calculated risk intel free action because I'm not playing it to intel. I am actually going to play to attack to do 3 damage within range 1 to this guy, and that will take him out because 2 and 3 is 5. And that brings us to our event step. Move doesn't trigger, but attack does because we now have 5 here. No crisis, but we will pull an event card. Close quarters combat. The nearest enemy moves 1 space toward you. So again, in this scenario, you means the player whose card is on top of this, triggering this action. So the nearest to IG-11. If it's in your space, it will attack you. So the nearest to IG-11 is this blaster who will move 1 in. Luckily, it will not end up in our space. Oh boy. Oh boy. These discard. This does not trigger anything because that's only 4. This is 2. So that's it for our event step. So now, draw back up. Okay, we got some Mandalorian cards now. Nothing with special powers, but they have some nice strength to them. Okay. Do we try and take this out and then flip this over? Let's see if this is even worth doing. Oof. That'll trigger a crisis. No, no, no. But this is going to trigger anyway. No matter what I do. Let's attack. We're going to attack this. I have a power 4 attack. We're in the same space with this melee guy who is strength 4. And we're going to do 4 damage, and that will take him out. Whew. So now I think I'm really scared. Do we just move into this space and take the risk? It could be an enemy. Let's move into the space and take the risk. I'm going to play this Mandalorian 2 power card to the move slot. And then we're going to move 1 and flip this over. Now I can't move back 1, right, for my second movement because movement ends when you enter space with a face down threat. So let's really hope that this is door control. Oh, that was so lucky. I'm so happy. This is a door control. So what we're going to do is take this and put it here because we're in the space with it. And now this door is unlocked. We just need to figure out which one of these is the asset. That was good. That was very good. And then, of course, event step. This will trigger not just an event, but also a crisis because this has 6 or more strength to it. So it's not great. We're going to put a damage token here, and then we're going to spawn 1 reinforcement in the star's space with the fewest enemies. This one already has one. So we're going to put this one here, blocking the door. Oh, and it has sentry. If we stop our movement within 1 space of this guy, he will deal us damage. Then these tokens will reset. Then we have to do an event card. Hoping for the best here. Draw attention. Flip the nearest face down threat face up, not through locked doors. It's not locked. Ooh. Does that mean I can flip this? It's through a wall. It's not adjacent, but the door is unlocked. What do y'all think? I think I can do it. It's technically the nearest face down threat token. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are both 5. The door is unlocked, so I think I can. All right, we're gonna flip this. I think it's okay to do. Interesting. And that's the asset. That ended up being pretty good for us, actually. I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, so that was our crisis and our event. So these cards here will discard into our discard pile. And let's see what else we have going on. Only 4, only 4, only 2. So let's draw 2 more cards. Got a Mandalorian and an IG-11 for this one. We really need to keep IG-11 alive. He's got 2 hit points left, and that's it. He's right next to this enemy. We have the Mandalorian who just needs to get through this sentry and into here with the asset. So what do we do? Look, it's going to trigger a crisis, but it won't give us an immediate reinforcement. So I think I'm going to have IG-11 attack for 2 into this space. Now that does mean one of that attack strength kind of goes to waste, but he needs to protect himself. So we're going to take this enemy, deal 2 damage. It only takes 1. So they're gone now. Oh, I think I just had a brilliant strategy moment. Okay, so I have this retaliate card for the Mandalorian planning card. After an enemy deals you damage, even if you block it, discard this to deal 2 damage to that enemy. And I have a defend, which will block 1 damage, which I think will apply to this sentry if I move into the space with it. So what I think we're actually going to do is we have our Mandalorian. Okay, so I'm going to play this 1 card to move. He's going to move 1 here. Now that activates the sentry ability. Deals you 1 damage if you end your movement within range 1. So we are within range 1 of this sentry. So they're going to deal 1 damage, but I have this defend card. When you're dealt damage, discard this to block 1. So I'm going to do that to block that damage. Discarded. Then I also have this retaliate card. After an enemy deals you damage, even if you block it, discard this to deal 2 damage to that enemy. Well, guess what? That sentry enemy only has 2 hit points. So if I play this retaliate, it'll deal 2 damage back and take him off the board. Boop. Dun 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 dun. Clearing my way here to get to the asset. That's the action steps. We're going to go into the event phase now. So nothing happens here for move, strength 1. This is strength 6. So we put a damage token on our crisis track, and then we will resolve an event. Oops, I never discarded this. Swarm. Oh, no. All right. Well, we're getting a reinforcement in both star locations. So one's going here. Ay, boy. And then one goes here. Oh no, and that's a sentry. I just dealt with a sentry. So that's bad. So those go away. Okay, well that's not ideal. These will discard. Nothing happens here because Intel's strength 4 and plan is strength 2. So draw up 2 more cards. We're almost to the end of our deck. We're going to have to reshuffle soon. Oh boy. How do we want to deal with this? Okay, I'm scared. Oh, I'm so scared. No, I'm going to play it a little safe. I'm going to play this planning card here for IG-11 to get 2 because it has a little bonus symbol. 2 planning cards. And pick one to keep. Oh, rotten. I can't keep the retaliate because I already have one. And bad luck, nothing. So I'm going to put the bad luck on the discard. I'm going to put the retaliate back on top of the deck. So that wasn't ideal. And then this is scary. This is scary, but I'm going to play this 1 for the Mandalorian to move. Move 1 into the space with the sentry, which will then do 1 damage to the Mandalorian because I've ended my movement within range 1. I'm doing a bit of a risk here. I played it safe with IG-11. I'm taking a little bit of a risk here with the Mandalorian, who has now half their damage. But I'm hoping this is going to make it easier for me to take this enemy out and then get into here to get the asset. Will that work out the way I want? I don't know. It might be a really bad idea. But that's that. So those are my 2 actions. So we need to evaluate for my event step now. So nothing here. This is only 4. This is only 3. So we don't have to worry about any event cards for now. So our last 2 cards in our deck, when we need to draw cards again, we'll reshuffle. So what have we got? Ooh. I like this sneak attack card. I can just move out of this space and into... I'm doing this, sneak attack. So this is for the Mandalorian. I play it to move, and it says move. Deal 2 damage to an enemy in your space. Use this before resolving enemy abilities. So I'm going to deal 2 damage to this sentry in my space. It takes 3 to die, but I'm only doing 2. And then I move 2. 1, 2. Now, you cannot count range through walls. I'm not within range for the sentry ability to activate. 1, 2. So we're safe there. And now we are in the space with the asset. All we have to do is survive to the end of this turn in the space with the asset, and we actually win this first mission. So we just need to survive. I have 1 more action to do. We just need to keep everyone alive. Oh, things I play are just going to trigger. This is why, though, it might make sense to play a card to an action space where you don't really intend to do that action because you're just trying to spread out your strength to not trigger an event. Or I could just trigger an event and see what happens. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. For what is hopefully my last turn here, I'm gonna take a calculated risk. I am going to play this to intel. This IG-11 card to intel. So it's a strength 3. I can either secretly look at a face down threat within that range or choose an enemy within range 3 and move it 1 space. I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move this sharpshooter 1 away because I think that will help as we resolve an event here. It's going to help protect the Mandalorian. Now, I could have just played a card here, done nothing, and won. But that's not very interesting, is it? Let's play risky. Let's go big. Let's feel like heroes. So now I can also deal myself 1 damage to perform a 3 strength action of my choice, even if I already performed it. I'm going to do that. We're going to take 1 damage to IG-11, who is at 5 of 6 now. This is so risky. And I'm going to do this again, perform a 3 strength action of my choice, even if I already performed it. I'm doing this same intel action again to take 1, 2, 3 within range 3 and move this blaster 1 space. And now we have to calculate our events. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing happens at move. Nothing happens at attack. Intel. This one is 7. So we'll get a crisis marker. And we do have to do an event. Now, it all depends on this event, if something happens to the Mandalorian. But I think the Mandalorian can survive. Oh, no. This is a lot of things. Okay, melee will move 3 toward the nearest character, which is definitely, this is our only melee on the board. So, yeah, 1, 2 into our space. But they're not going to attack. Look, the blaster. Oh, everyone's just moving in. Oh, this isn't so bad. So we have this melee guy in here with us in the asset right now. Then we need to do a blaster. We'll move 2 toward the nearest character. So 1, 2, they're closing in. Somehow we're going to fight our way out of this. And then a sharpshooter will move 1. And then we would, of course, shuffle our deck and draw 2 cards. But at the end of any player's turn, if a character is in the asset space, we have achieved our objective. The Mandalorian is in the space with the asset, getting ready to shoot his way out. Pew, 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 pew. With this asset. Come on, IG-11, let's get out of here. Okay, sir. I don't know how any of these characters sound. Like I said, I've not seen the show. I imagine it's like this. Oh, right behind you, sir. Let's go. Pew, 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 pew. We win. I was really scared, genuinely. I was very nervous after my first turn that I was just going to instantly get IG-11 taken out and lose. But we managed to do it. And that means we get to look at our guide deck now for what comes next. This says, after you complete your first game, win or lose, flip this card and follow the instructions. Congratulations on completing your first game. Add the following 13 cards of the guide deck to your game. These will be used in all future games. So we now have the child and some reference cards about them. We've got some tactical skill cards we're going to add. Let's see. This is where it says stop again. So each character, all of these who we haven't even met yet, get a new card to add to their deck, along with the Mandalorian and IG-11. Pretty cool. And then we have 3 new event cards that are probably kind of nasty that we add to that deck as well. So I'm going to add these cards to my decks and get ready to play Mission 2, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. So that will not be part of this video. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Table for One. I really appreciate you choosing to watch this playthrough, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. If this kind of video is your jam, we have other playthroughs on the channel. Monique and Naveen go head-to-head in 2-player games right here, so make sure you go check them out in the Game Played series. We also, of course, have the Matthew Answers the Internet series, where Matthew does a bunch of Q&As and answers your questions about board games that he finds searching the internet. We have our top 10 lists, and of course, we have Rodney's tutorials. Again, if you want to know exactly how this game works, make sure you go back and watch his how to play video for all the details you need for the multiplayer version and also for the solo version, because it really wasn't that different. If you enjoyed this video, go on and give it a thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you always know whenever I have a new Table for One ready for you. And until then, thanks for watching.